Good morning, kids. Today we'll be checking out a brand new video from Dead Meat, the kill count for the 1993 movie Cronos. Let's hop in and check it out. There we go. Glitched out for a little bit though.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James H.
Look
and
at
today
Snazzy.
we're looking at Cronos, a Mexican film that premiered in 1992. It's the first ever feature by writer-director Guillermo del Toro, the Oscar-winning Mexican filmmaker. Del Toro is widely beloved for his warmth, his fantastical films, and his passion for all things pop culture, as evidenced by Bleak House, his collection of over 10,000 relics from his personal life and the zeitgeist. Cronos is a vampire movie, although to be honest, I didn't know that at first. Watched it and had no idea until the end. It's a less traditional take involving a golden scarab called the Cronos device, and it winds up working as a metaphor for drug addiction. Del Toro wrote Cronos as part of his thesis at La Universidad de Guadalajara, then rewrote the script almost daily for 8 years. The movie is a moody and melancholy ode to hammer horror, with stately shadows and factory floors standing in for remote castles. In his lighting, Del Toro pays homage to the giallo films of Bava and Argento, who used colors even when there wasn't a clear purpose.
He was just doing it for the texture and the feeling.
But Cronos isn't just
that
pastiche.
makes sense.
It also works as a preview of Del Toro's career tropes, like his sympathetic view of monsters. It's a quiet and tragic look at vampires, like George Romero's Martin. And far from the fangy action Del Toro would deliver much later with Blade 2. But it's still got some kills in there, and... Oh, I'm sorry, a customer.
No, it's gonna be an ad, so we're gonna skip, and we're back.
Saying, this may not be an action-filled vampire movie, but it's still got some kills in there, and I do believe I will go ahead and count them now.
Let's go.
The movie begins in 1536 with an alchemist trying to crack the code to eternal life. He does it because he's still kicking 400 years later when his office in Veracruz collapses and kills 4 bystanders in 1937. The accident also kills the alchemist himself. His skin is marbly and pretty unpleasant to look at, but he had survived these centuries until this stake-like impalement finally did him in. The police searched his estate and found disturbing things, like a bunch of
So that is kind of a big jump. We start off with the guy trying to gain immortal life. He gains immortal life. He dies like a vampire. And that's all within 5 minutes in the movie starting. God dang.
Organized loose notes. Oh, and a naked guy hung upside down, dripping blood into various pots and pans. Sopa de sangre! They never found the Eternal Lifeinator, though, more properly called the Cronos device. It was stashed inside a statue of the Archangel Gabriel, a secret little hidden title card. 40 years after that, in the 90s, the statue ends up in Mexico City, in the Grand Bazaar antique shop / children's playground. Damn, how many clocks y'all trying to sell here? I mean, I get they're thematic, but this place is packed. Although I guess that's not surprising, given Bleak House. Seriously, Del Toro has all his childhood toys there, and the first book he ever bought back when he was 7. What the fuck, dude? This hardware store owner and semi-professional Geppetto cosplayer is Jesus Gris, who sees his Archangel statue getting fondled by a random dude. Turns out the guy was unwrapping the statue of Gabriel, who must be the patron saint of creepy crawlers, since cockroaches crawl out of its eye later. Oh, and they enter a puzzle time? Rude. Gris's granddaughter Aurora fucking loves puzzle time. Die! 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 Jesus ruins Gabe's resale value even more, but it pays off. He finds a priceless surprise inside the Cronos device. Only problem is, there are people looking for it on behalf of Dieter de la Guardia, a powerful but sickly business owner dying of various maladies. The de la Guardia search is led by his nephew Angel, who takes the Alien Queen elevator up to his uncle's gaudy quarantine. Angel's not thrilled about having to do all this legwork. I mean, look at how many statues he's already found and had to, dry clean. I really love the set deck in this movie, between the overcrowded antique store and the cold, sterile alternative medicine room here. Cronos may have been Guillermo del Toro's first feature as a director, but the guy was no slouch beforehand. At only 26, he had already established Necropia in Guadalajara, one of Mexico's first special effects makeup houses.
Oop, hold on folks, be right back. And we're back.
He had also made a bunch of short films and wrote a book about Alfred Hitchcock. But despite all that and a faithful cast and crew, he still couldn't find investors for his film. Cronos was mostly funded by nonprofits and national grants. It racked up $500,000 in debt, which was only reimbursed by eventual festival winnings.
I was crying in the stage, holding this giant check, and I was trembling, and I was really moved because I was happy the movie was being recognized, and B, I was not going to jail.
Dieter de la Guardia is trying to find the
jail.
Cronos device based
Give
on
him
the
a
Alchemist's
hug.
notes. He forces Angel to go pick up another Arkhim statue from Jesus Grease and his adorable granddaughter. Angel's a bad guy, but he's also Ron Perlman, so it's hard not to like him. Del Toro would agree.
Y pensé, ¿quién es el
doubt.
actor perfecto para el bruto, para un bruto simpático con corazón? Y dije, Ron Perlman.
Perlman, then in his early 40s, was sought out by Del Toro with a letter saying he was a big fan.
He was, making reference to the most obscure, most embarrassing
Name of the rose?
of forays of
Ice
mine.
Perlman
Pirates.
agreed to be in Cronos without knowing it'd mostly be in Spanish.
I said, I don't speak Spanish.
Oop.
She goes, I know, let's go eat.
But he believed in the first-time director so much, he took a pay cut to make sure the movie got done. Perlman and Del Toro would end up working together 7 times, most notably with Hellboy, and he considers Cronos responsible
awesome.
for his success in the second half of his career.
It was a profoundly important event in my life.
Angel has procured the statue, but that thing is emptier than a chocolate Easter bunny, since Jesus Grease has kept the golden scarab beetle he found inside. Careful with that, man. Ain't you never seen the Brendan Fraser mummy? Get your freaking hand, dude. The Cronos device extracts a mosquito swarm's worth of blood, probably tearing
Damn.
Grease out, but also possibly giving him scarab powers. Maybe he can be Scarab Man. The Cronos device was created by designer Maria Figueroa, who packed it full of intricate details.
You have here
It isn't the blue beetle.
This a snake biting its own tail, which means eternity. And there's a little inscription there, suo tempore, which means everything at its own time.
Several were made for the
Ooh.
film, but they all got stolen by the end of production. Del Toro says
what?
he still wants an original. For now, he's settled with replicas pulled from the same mold. Jesus runs to his
Alright.
tango instructor
That's
wife
fine.
Mercedes, who stitches him up as good as new. It leaves him quite a thirsty boy, though not at all interested in all those eggs he's got clamped to the fridge back there.
That is
He's
quite a
got the
number.
cravings for that fresh-looking
Meat.
He gets distracted by an insatiable itch and chews at his bandages. Can someone get this guy a cone to wear? Mad Dog, to feel better, he lets the
Hung, hung,
bug
hung,
scratch
hung,
him
hung, hung.
again, which is when we learn there's an actual living bug inside the jewel. What the fuck, man? Hope this doesn't become a Meat of Evils thing or something. His bug
Didn't know
using
that-
is heard
what
by
the fuck was
Aurora.
on my
His moan's
screen?
apparently louder than the rave she was at. It's okay, honey. It's just your average staregasm. You can go back to listening to Darude. The Cronos' effects are seen the next morning when Jesus wakes up a changed man. He shaves his mustache.
Te ves distinto.
A lot
Mucho más
younger,
joven.
yeah.
Exacto, para eso lo hice. Así me siento.
His virile mourning is cut
should've kept
short
it.
when he finds out someone's junked his junk store. The shock of it turns him into a cat. Oh, but good. They left their information. Maybe it was just an accident. And look at that. They keep convenient hours, too. Grease
They are
knows to
open
point
all
the finger
night.
at Angel, which gets him a meeting with Uncle Jackass in his aromatherapy den. How many humidifiers does one man need? De La Guardia shows
apparently
him his
6.
collection of the Alchemist's notes, loosely translated.
The Book of the Never Dead.
It's not exactly accessible.
Book of the
Escrito al
Devil
revés, en
Dead?
latín.
De La Guardia tells Grease that the bug inside the device works as a filter and prolongs the user's life. Because of that, De La Guardia thinks bugs are divine.
Cristo caminó sobre el agua, igual que un mosquito.
The kingdom of heaven welcomes the insect kingdom. Yeah, I know, insects are a class in the kingdom Animalia. It was a joke, God! Like the Alchemist, Del Toro kept all his ideas and sketches for
moving
Cronos
on.
in a single notebook. He still breaks down his movies the same way, but the Cronos notebook is the only one he's lost over the years.
The notebook
Damn.
of Cronos I gave to Jim Cameron in a drunken stupor in 1992 or 93. And he seems to have misplaced it.
Oh, that thing's probably at the bottom of the ocean, dude.
Oh,
De La
most
Guardia
likely.
learns that Grease used the Cronos device on himself, so he angrily tells him to leave. Thought it'd be more menacing, especially with Ron Perlman around. I mean, he is his uncle's guardian angel, literally, Angel de la Guardia. But I guess Angel's just happy his search is over.
You finally got your whatever it is.
Except he didn't. This was a grease trap. Jesus has kept the beetle, and all De La Guardia has is the stupid instruction manual. He tries to make it sound important.
Pero contiene reglas. Reglas
Rules.
precisas y muy estrictas sobre cómo debe usarse.
But it never
uses,
ends up
okay.
affecting the plot. Guy literally just eats it at the end. I ain't joking.
Best meal I've had in years.
Dieter de la Guardia was one of the final roles of Claudio Brook, a prolific Mexican actor who worked with Luis Buñuel. Del Toro particularly liked Brook in The Exterminating Angel. Jesus gets home to find that Aurora has hidden the beetle from him, and also hidden herself from him. He finds her and spills some tea about her otherwise unmentioned dad, Jesus' son. When he was a young boy, he tried to hide Jesus' cigarettes to get him to stop smoking. joking. It didn't work, obviously, but it did let Jesus know his son cared, and now he knows Aurora cares. But once again, it doesn't matter, because after she gives him the scarab back from its hiding spot in her bear's neck fur, he thanks her by promptly using again, this time right in the chest.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the good bug. You know, I joke, but this is actually an upsettingly effective metaphor for drug addiction, just with more jelly blood. Jesus Grease is played by the late Federico Lupi, an Argentinian actor who would work with Del Toro again on The Devil's Backbone and Pan's Labyrinth. In Cronos, Del Toro has Lupi play Jesus as a man coping with an addiction, rather than as an evil vampire. It's a sympathetic portrayal that Del Toro would return to with monsters throughout his career. Jesus and Mercedes head off to enjoy a New Year's party, since this movie kinda needlessly takes place during the holidays. Aw, why'd they bring the kid along though? This is the boringest party in the world for a kid. Her grandparents are sitting there fucking rubbing on each other, and she's not gonna appreciate Klaus Nomi over there. Jesus learns that he's developed a fascination for nosebleeds and follows an afflicted guest to the bathroom. The guy leaves a giant puddle of blood on the sink for him to snort, but another partygoer interrupts him and just wipes that blood away with his bare hand? Excuse me, sir! What the fuck? He didn't even wash his hands when he left. Come on! Luckily, the sicko missed a spot. Quick, Jesus, 5-second rule. It's being real gross down there.
It's been there for 5 seconds.
And tells him to taste leather. The heavy drives him out to the hills and hopes to beat the Cronos out of him like a piñata. Instead, Jesus tells him about his uncle's plans for immortality.
That fucker does nothing but shit and piss all day and he wants to live longer?
For a second there, it felt like I was watching a buddy comedy starring Will Ferrell. That's not the only time in this movie Ron Perlman reminds me of Ron Burgundy either. Fuck!
Yes, Uncle.
Since Jesus won't reveal where the device is, Angel decides to serve him off the mount. He plants him in the car and hikes it off a cliff. Hell yes, I love old car stunts like this. Jesus goes splat and dies from splat-related injuries not long afterward.
Well, shit.
I guess I'll count this as a kill, even though, you know, we still got 40 minutes left. Shit gets weird. The movie then veers into comedy for a while, thanks to this coroner character Tito, a guy who's great at his job and loves dancing and luchadors. Bet he'd never call a dead chick hot. Looking at you, Axel. He doesn't notice when Jesus escapes his casket during his banana break, so he thinks the body gets cremated and tells Angel as much when he comes to make sure Grease is really dead.
¿Término medio o bien cocido?
This section of the film feels like a tangent, and I don't think it ever fully recovers. But I do love the score here and throughout the entire movie by Javier Alvarez, the late Mexican musician.
So he was put into a box. Okay, so he was beaten to a pulp, put in a car. The car was pushed over a cliff. The car exploded, semi-exploded. He was declared dead. Now he's in the box. So is he dead or not? I mean, the Alchemist guy has lived for 400 years.
Teacher who sadly just passed away in May. He didn't score a lot of films, but he made a lot of music. He also cameoed earlier as the bleeding guy in the bathroom. Jesus wanders the streets looking like a dead guy. But, you know, pretty good for a dead guy. He dumpster dives for his own obituary, then uses some foot glass to cut his mouth open, which has gotta be the first time I've ever said that sentence. He tries to give his widow wife a call, but the only thing he can bring himself to say is his favorite kind of car.
Mercedes.
Grease walks home where he's greeted by Aurora, who doesn't seem to mind her grandfather's present state. She's too young to understand the difference between life and whatever's going on here. The little kid helps him as only little kids can by building him a fort inside her secret clubhouse. She even turns her toy chest into a coffin, since it turns out Gramps tans real easy now. This shot's an homage to Hammer, evoking a similar one of Christopher Lee as Dracula. I will admit that on my first watch through, it wasn't until this scene that I realized Jesus was a vampire and that this was a vampire movie. Estoy estupido. Grease writes Mercedes a note, though it takes him quite a few drafts to get there. Probably not easy with all the flies and the skin sloughing. When he finishes his pile of crappy origami, he heads out to the famous De La Guardia sign, where a single guard walks a lonely beat. Deaf guard maybe, since he doesn't hear Jesus using that elevator. Somehow Aurora has followed him here, ready to rave with her teddy bear. It still has the Cronos device too.
No te das cuenta que estamos en peligro.
Oh yeah, that kid hasn't talked the whole movie.
Of course
the undead grandpa proves to be irresponsible by using her as his tiny little accomplice. They ransack the place for the Cronos instructions, but obviously that wakes up the old guy sleeping in bed right there. De La Guardia tells him he's hidden the notes in the last place they'd ever look.
Me las comí.
But again, turns out the instructions don't really matter. De La Guardia takes a look at Jesus' skin condition and aggressively suggests exfoliation.
Peel it off!
The baby foot peel gone wrong reveals that Jesus has a nougaty center. It accompanies his new unending thirst for blood, specifically type human blood.
You can't gain eternity with a cow. or a pig.
Jesus doesn't like the sound of that, so De La Guardia offers to take the curse off his hands if he hands over the device. Grease doesn't read the stabby fine print though and gets attacked.
Damn.
It takes Aurora and a walking cane to get the bad guy off her Gramps. Atta girl, Aurora. Maybe don't watch this next part though. Grandpa's not very proud of it. Jesus and Aurora hide as Angel comes to see what's going on in the world's most humidified med room. He finds his uncle and, presuming him to be dead, grieves.
Mine! Mine! Everything is mine! Ho, 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 ho.
Uncle Moneybags
Nope, there he
reveals
is.
he ain't dead just yet, but Angel doesn't let his inheritance slip away. He puts his foot down, right on De La Guardia's trachea.
Ooh.
Waiting long enough.
Finally, this is all yours, Angel. Your air will never be dry again. Jesus makes a break for it and breaks
Oh,
Angel's
boy.
nose so
Oh,
he can break
damn
the
it.
window and have this small child climb through the broken glass. They wind up on the roof of the De La Guardia factory, where the brand new CEO corners them by the neon lights. Angel works his frustrations out on this immortal punching bag, but Jesus realizes how much of a tank he is.
Tú pierdes más que yo.
You've got more to lose.
Lo mío es nada más
For
dolor.
me, it's
One
just
lame,
pain.
lazy distraction later, Jesus spears Angel from the top rope through a skylight
Ooh.
and onto the factory floor. By God, that's
was
how you use
impressive.
vampire powers. Gangrel could never. Aurora climbs down to give her injured undead grandpa a shot of the Beetlejuice. The spirit is willing, but the body is full of broken glass. Good thing he could just reach in and tear himself a new one now. You know, honestly, I don't really like the effects of the marble skin. It looks weird and too latexy to me.
Why is he
Aurora's
becoming like a
tiny hand has a
statue?
tiny cut, and it's enough to awaken the thirst in Grandpa. He goes to act, and for the first time in the movie, Aurora speaks.
Well,
Her love breaks the spell, allowing him
Ugh.
to squash that bug once and for all. Unfortunately,
Oh, well, he just
as
killed it.
promised by De La Guardia, this kills him, reducing him to White Walker form. The movie ends with Aurora laying her head on her downy soft grandpa, who's now double quilted for ultimate emotional absorbency. It's a bittersweet
Well,
ending like only Guillermo del Toro
okay.
could deliver. Could he also deliver a bunch of kills? Let's find out and get to the numbers. Oh my god, am I turning into a vampire?
No.
Oh, no, this is just glue. How'd that get on there?
That movie was weird
I
as
counted
hell.
10 kills in Cronos, and all of them were men, giving us una tarta de arándanos. This count and gender breakdown has happened twice before on this show, in Child's Play 3 and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Ah,
With a runtime
neat.
of 82 minutes, Cronos gave us a kill on average every 8.2 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Jesus Christ the first time he was killed. Dude went out like a cartoon character, and then kept going. Sure, the car might not have exploded, but that only makes
Oh,
it more
okay,
painful.
no, I was wrong, it
Golden
did
City for
explode.
lamest kill goes to the Alchemist. Dude could have lived forever, but got taken out by negligent building codes. You hate to see it. And that's it. Cronos came out in 1992 and won 9 Mexican Academy Awards. It was chosen as the
Damn.
country's submission for Best Foreign Language Film at the Oscars, and while it wasn't nominated, its international success led to Del Toro getting Mimic, his first American film. Until next time, I'm James A.
Sweet.
Janice. This has been The Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching.
Well, folks, thank you all for joining me in today's video. I hope you all enjoyed this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below. So remember to support the original creator and all they do. And I'll see all you folks next time when we flick on. Peace out.